topic is taboo.
Let's have a candid conversation. Talk about the issues that you're facing and the dreams that you're chasing. Dr. Rich got the tools to help you make it. We can talk about it. Let's have a candid
It's all
conversation.
about me. Let's have a candid conversation. It's all about me and you. Let's have a candid conversation. No topic is taboo.
Now, Pastor, you got condition on your love for me? Or you gonna just let me do what I want to do?
Yeah, I'm what dude call a man.
Let's have a candid conversation. No topic is taboo. When I talk to you,
It's Dr. Rich, y'all.
oh, it's all about me and you.
Me and you.
Let's have a candid conversation. No topic is taboo.
Dr. Rich, y'all.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'm Pastor R sitting in with the real Dr. Rich for this candid conversation half-hour session. Thank you guys for tuning in with us, and I hope that you all are having a wonderful, wonderful Easter day.
Easter Day, OMG.
Easter Day. Just know that our Messiah, he rose again. He rose from the dead and give all of us power and victory. Amen.
Hey, it's the real Dr. Rich right here in the Candid Conversation studio. Listen, super excited, super stoked to join you for 30 minutes of Candid Conversations with me, the real Dr. Rich, on this Sunday. So hopefully and prayerfully you've already received your word and you're continuing to grow in the things of God. Here with that Southside Scrapper, Pastor R. What's popping, Pastor R?
Everything's popping.
What's popping, husband?
I'm just thankful that our Redeemer lives. I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that he paid the price that I could just have this freedom in life so I can live in faith and not fear. I'm so thankful for his sacrifice. Even though I don't like how he suffered, but I am thankful that he is alive.
Yeah. Okay. So, Pastor R, real quickly, we're not going to be here for the show in its entirety. So let's move right along. I want to talk about relationships. Listen, in my theme music, you hear Dula singing. Let's talk about the issues that you're facing and the dreams that you're chasing.
All right.
So there are some issues, some relationship issues. Oh my God, it's so much. Relationships are hard work, Pastor R.
They are.
Really, I mean, super hard, extremely challenging. Relationships, just that's what they amount to. So anyway, I wanted to say this real quickly. I was in a group discussion this week about deal breakers, and actually, like I said a little bit earlier, I didn't have any solid deal breakers. There have been some things that have occurred in our marriage, in our union, in our covenant that I definitely thought would have been deal breakers. I mean, some things that you probably didn't agree with me. You'd be like, that's nothing. That's something from the outside. Those people don't matter. But to me and to other women, certain things do matter. I mean, certain things matter. And whether you say they matter or not, it could have really been a deal breaker for me. Some things, I mean, no matter how minuscule.
It wasn't be a deal breaker because God gave you to me and me to you. So it wasn't.
Yeah.
God gave a lot of people.
He also gave you a commission to, leave and to cleave. And also within that realm there's wrapped up a whole gamut of things that the husband should do, as far as covering. I mean, I hear a lot of people in kingdom ministries or just as Christians talk about the husband is the covering, the husband is the covering, and it's kind of it's difficult when the husband isn't per se covering his wife,
right.
or protecting her.
We're not perfect. We're not perfect.
Oh, I know. We've had conversations and even laughed about it. You say, well, I'm not the Messiah, I'm not the Savior. So meaning, I knew what that meant. We would laugh about it, but that just means that you're not perfect. You're not my Savior. So
Right.
I should expect that you make mistakes. But like I say, we had a discussion earlier this week, not you, but I was in a discussion group, and we discussed we had conversations about deal breakers in marriage or in relationships. And my God, I don't know. I only had one thought, one concept that came to mind that I definitely would say that's a deal breaker. I can no longer be married to Cedric. And I know, maybe I'm not thinking enough. And maybe, physical abuse. I said physical because domestic violence encompasses so many things. It encompasses emotional, psychological, and financial abuse. But I never thought about it. But I just think when we came together, you knew certain things that would be deal breakers. And I guess that's why we're still together today, because some of the other things that challenged our marriage didn't necessarily break our marriage. It challenged our marriage. Those things challenged our marriage, but it didn't break our marriage, our covenant. But I tell you what, you knew that I didn't want a man who would beat on me. You knew that.
Right.
I was in one of those types of relationships as a teenager, and I vowed never to return to that type of relationship. Also, you knew that I did not want a man who was a pedophile, and that definitely is a deal breaker.
Right, and you don't have to. A lot of women and a lot of people today, they don't have to accept those kind of terms. They don't have to marry someone that way. And for what's going on, married men giving single women advice, even though that they're not right. And one thing I just want people to know, as we grow and as we know and as we show the world how to live in marriage, people need to understand that there is no God-like figure in marriage. No person who's anthropomorphic, but a man is only a man, and a woman is only a woman. And I would say to people all the time that if a person is going to do anything unlawful in a marriage, they're going to do it anyway. So no matter what hours you try to work, whether you work in the day, whether you work in the night, because there's a time and a place where people can make time to do things wrong in that relationship. So it's really going to have to be that individual who makes it up in their mind that they want to be loyal. But I'm going to tell you right now, I've been married 24 years. And
Wow,
what I have found out
24.
is that no marriage is perfect. There is no perfect marriage. Only, let me tell you something. Back in the day, men cheated on their wives and had several girlfriends. And women of that day, they always accepted, what went on in the marriage. They stayed with those men because those men were providers. Those men were the grandfather to their grandchildren, and they stayed together no matter what. So I'm not going to say leave your husband if he's committing infidelity, or leave your wife because she's committing infidelity. Just know this: no matter who you are with, there's a chance that this person may, commit adultery if it's only with his eyes or with her eyes. Because sin is sin, no matter the degree of it. We all do things wrong, and me myself, I'm guilty myself of of the same crime. Yeshua said, if you look at a woman or a man and you desire them in your heart, you have already committed the very act of adultery. And so that's why every day we have to go back to the drawing.
So what are you saying? You committed adultery because you've lusted?
I said people, men, when we
you
when
said
we,
you said I am I'm guilty of that
guilty
same.
of sin. I'm
Oh,
not guilty of
sin.
the same thing, but I'm guilty of sin. And we all have
What,
to
like the way you
realize,
treat me and talk to me?
well, if that's a sin, yeah.
Oh, if
I'm
it's
not
a
perfect.
sin.
I don't always say or treat you nicely or say things to you that's pleasant. Sometimes by me being a husband, I'm not always that that teddy bear. Sometimes that strong man comes up sometimes. So I just want to let you all know that married men shouldn't be counseling single women at all unless their wives are there, or if their wives are someone's being mediated between.
Well, let me say this. I know what story and headline you're referencing, but it's not necessarily that he was counseling one on one. He has books, he does live streams, YouTube. He has a ton of mostly female followers because the men kind
That's
of
dangerous right there.
Yeah, because men reject him. Men reject him because he kind of not bashes, but he kind of puts the spotlight on the weaknesses of men. He says, let me tell you something, to be honest with you. Look at me.
Men love women.
Let me say this. He kind of says things that you say, but nobody wants to listen to you. But see, this is the difference from what I'm hearing from followers. People know that you have a spouse. They know, I don't like that. Now, no, because look on here. This is fine now, but you had it across. So the thing is this: he gives wise counsel or advice similar to what you do. But the thing is, you promote me and everything. This is what people were saying. Listen to me. I don't talk about him. They said they have a problem now looking in retrospect because they never saw pictures of him and her. They never saw her on anything that he was doing. It's like she was in the shadows, never to be spoken of, but he could give advice to single women saying that this is the way men should do. And this is even to married women. If your husband isn't doing this or doing, and those type of things, but there was no hint of him having a wife. Or a significant other, but he's out here promoting. So they were like, now that they look back, it was a double standard because he does say things like you. He's like, it doesn't take a man 9 years to say you're my wife after he's had 3, 4, 5 babies by you. You say things like that, but at the same time, you have me there co-signing with you. We reveal our hand. We let people see our struggles for the most part. I mean, without having to necessarily show the weaknesses of those whom we're referring to, like some of our children.
No marriage is perfect. No marriage is perfect. And if a man feels that if a man feels that he can give a single woman advice instead of really being or playing a part in his own union with his wife, that is a double standard. And not only that, that's a hypocrite. But I would just like to say to our very listeners and to those who follow you, there is no perfect relationship. There is no perfect marriage. Even the first 2 people who ever became united under God's heaven was Adam and Eve, and that relationship wasn't perfect. They right off when the scriptures start, they start having issues based on their confidence and their trust between them and God. So if these 2 people who actually spent time, walked with God, seen the face of God, or felt the presence of God, what makes you think your marriage is going to be perfect? No. The first thing we need to do is we need to realize that if we're married, we shouldn't be counseling single women.
Wow.
We shouldn't be counseling single women. And if you're going to write,
that's what he did. Listen to me. Are you hearing what I'm saying? He wasn't counseling them in office. Now he was betting a few of them, but as far as having private counseling sessions, that's not what he was doing. He is a good. He has tons of followers. Can I put it to you like this? Yeah. Kind of like what Steve Harvey, someone you admire and respect, and like Bishop Jakes does. Bishop Jakes.
I have thousands of followers too. If I'm not tagging, if I'm single or married, and women are knowing that, or like Bishop Jakes.
Bishop Jakes gives a lot of wise counsel. He has his women's ministry where he's right there, front and center, giving wisdom and scripture to women.
Yeah, but this guy is different.
Okay.
Bishop Jakes' wife stands on the platform with him.
Okay.
You stand on the platform with me, and I've always counseled women. And I'm going to continue to counsel women, but I don't counsel women alone. I don't counsel women with one of my elders. I do not counsel women without one of my women ministers there. I do not visit a woman's house without my wife or without a male or a female minister with me. I know that some ministers probably have other ministers that they in cahoots with, but I'm gonna tell you, I don't finesse that way. I'm the type of pastor and minister who try to live the life that I preach. Am I perfect? No. Do I promote infidelity? No. All I'm saying is this: there is an enemy out there, and if you leave yourself unguarded, and if you don't play your hand like it's been dealt to you, you can be tricked by the enemy. Sometimes, men get caught up even though they love their wives with all of themselves. But if you leave yourself unguarded, the devil will set a trap for you. And you probably can recoup from it and you may not.
Pastor, this is his job. This is his livelihood. So now people are speculating that he's scrambling because it's been blown up to smithereens. I mean, it's
what is his name again?
You really want me to say it on Candid Conversations? I guess you do.
I don't know if you said his name earlier, but if you did,
I said I didn't, but
don't say his name.
His name is Mr. Jackson. I don't really.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is how he earns it. He writes books, and he has a huge platform.
I might have to try that
on YouTube. He has a huge platform on YouTube.
I may have to try that. I may have to try minister to women, but I would not attack John Gray because I know that John.
You can
Gray,
try it, but that doesn't mean everything that's for.
I'm not saying I'm good at ministering to.
I didn't say you. Let me say this. You don't have to shut me down to get your point across. My point is just I see a lot of people doing a lot of things. That does not mean that it's going to be.
It's long overdue for me.
Okay,
that's something.
But you cut me off.
Spirit.
Okay, well, my point is you don't have to compare yourself and say, well, maybe that's because what he is doing. There are plenty of people out because even like with me. Although we both like and have respect for Steve Harvey, I never purchased his book and tried to quote his saying. That's for a lot of other women, but think like a man, act like a woman. And then I think I read a post where he said, make them wait a certain amount of time before you start being.
I don't agree with that.
And see, me either. And so I don't even agree that I have to think like a man, but act like I don't have to think like you. I just need to.
Sometimes there is no time limit on being intercourse. Sometimes people meet somebody the first night, have intercourse, and 2 weeks later they marry, and they get a 50 years.
My point is, though, as a woman of faith, whom I profess to be, I don't need that advice from Steve Harvey because I know what I did. Like a lot of people don't buy into the way that I did it by the Bible. They don't buy into that. You used to tell me, stop being so hard, stop. But that worked for me. And then women will look at me and wonder how we have had the longevity that we had, but they don't want to do what I did. You preached a sermon this morning. If you want what Abraham has, you have to do what Abraham did. See, even with me, there was a certain lifestyle that I lived, and it was not one of random dating and random promiscuity. I'm talking about during the 5 years before I met you. That's what I'm speaking of. I'm not talking about prior to my Damascus Road encounter. So when people look, no, I didn't say. I had learned from previous relationships, being intimate with somebody and saying they're my boyfriend or I'm their girlfriend, I'm their woman, didn't work. It did not make them commit. So I decided to step out of insanity and to do something different.
Yeah, you have to do something different if you want a different result. And so.
And I wanted a different result.
So I'm not a very big follower of John Gray, but when the world found out that he had committed infidelity on his
emotional
wife,
infidelity, right? That's what he said.
Some of the world, it was like a split. Some of the people in the world had a problem with it. Some of the world sympathized with whatever he was suffering with. But it was really up to John's great wife. Even he bought her expensive gift. He bought her a Lamborghini. But the thing is this, it was really up to his wife, and as it is up to every couple to examine the situation. You don't have to leave your husband or your wife because they committed infidelity.
And to define the terms of the contract. See, it's up to us what our contract looks like. That's why I said when they asked me in this group conversation, I'm like, the question was posed to everybody, but to me, I didn't say that I would necessarily leave you. And some of them were shocked, but I didn't necessarily say that I would. But now if it became habitual, because I know how nasty, listen, there are women you've never, wait a minute, let me say this. There are women who have never been intimate with you, who are messy and mean-spirited towards me.
Some may have, though, been intimate with me. Maybe, most probably a dozen of them.
For no apparent reason.
What if it was a dozen or a half a dozen?
But like I said, there are women who are just mean.
I'm trying to get a response.
I'm not going to have one for you. There are women who are just mean-spirited. So for no reason other than my presence. So for me to deal with you and a habitual issue of
Homemonger.
adultery, there is no way I can see it, because women are just so insecure. Women are so mean spirited. Women are so nasty at times. So I just couldn't see myself dealing with that over, because they would do nothing but pick with me.
You don't have to deal with that over and over. I don't have to deal with that with you.
I don't think you would. I don't think you would stay with me if it happened once.
Well,
be honest with you.
I love you.
No, I don't think so. I know you in real life. I know you in real life.
I love you, and I'm willing to work my marriage out. And when you say habitual, I don't know what caused men to continue on and on and on and on to commit adultery on their wives, or what caused women to do it. But I will say this: if your marriage or if your relationship is dangerous, if this person causing you to have mental stress or making you battle within yourself rather to do right or wrong, I think you should make a conscious decision in the spirit of holiness and righteousness with a spiritual guide or someone who holds the office of wise counsel, people you will totally put your trust in. Not to tell you to leave your spouse, but
I want to say something.
Go ahead.
A man like you could offer so much wisdom to women. I've seen you do it with our with our girls. This is the thing, though. I think so many women are so broken and just we set ourselves up for disappointment because of our expectations. Listen to this. Let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. This is a quote. Some people are mad at you because you are not suffering the way they expected you to. Wow. May God keep on disappointing disappointing them. Right. So he has 69,000 people to like that simple post, something that you've said. See, but see, there's a difference here. That's what I see, because this man, I mean, seriously, I'm not going to talk about him for his indiscretion of adultery. But what I will say is, when he posts something so general like that you posted something similar, I posted something similar. See, it just goes to show, I think it's sometimes something within us that draws us to people who lie. Just like in ministry, we can know a pastor is a pedophile. We can know a pastor is not holy. He's made righteous through the blood of Yeshua, but we will flock and follow people like that. We can know a female pastor is a lesbian. And I'm not like, listen, I'm just saying, these are just things that I'm picking. We can know that she's a gossip, a busybody, and really an unbeliever, but we'll still follow. See, it's something about us. We don't want to take wise counsel from people who are authentic and who are living what they speak.
Right. Some people, I think, Dr. Rich, what it is these people are so quick to jump on the bandwagon.
I believe that
with someone who looks successful or give the impression that they're successful was an easy goal or easy.
If this was your man, what would you do?
Easy to accomplish. And all I say is this: I think a lot of people can learn and can receive a lot from our marriage. Not saying that we have the perfect marriage, but
right.
But we do have something to offer young couples who are planning to marry,
right?
Single young ladies and single young men who are really not sure about what's ahead or around the corner. They have to sit down at the feet of scholars and learn and to apply and to activate what they are learning. And
activate. I like that.
Some of us are not getting it from our parents, because parents are ordained to bring them into the world and or maybe ordained to be together, but they're not ordained to pass on or to help them learn the fundamentals or the foundations that will keep their children, stable in the earth for as marriage is concerned. They just don't have it. Just like school or okay, my baby Leah, she has to take math from a tutor, but he's an expert at it. And I pay him because he's helping her learn the foundation of mathematics, logic, all kinds of different types of math, trigonometry, algebra, chemistry. It's so much.
He doesn't tutor in chemistry, but yeah, all of that other math.
Physics,
okay.
Physics and these things that she's learning, She's learning from him because I'm not an expert in it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I don't get angry at him. I don't get jealous at him. I pay him because he's good at it. And a lot of one person asked me, what makes you better than me, or what makes you different than me? I said, because relationships, I'm good at it. And then he said, well,
You are. I can
he
attest
said,
to
you're not a
that.
psychologist. I said, but I have studied a little bit of it, and I know
You
a little
have.
bit about Sigmund Freud and those guys.
Piaget.
Yeah, but I'm not degreed in psychology, but I have studied it a little bit, and I'm going to continue to study it. And psychology and sociology, all that stuff comes together when it comes down to being in a relationship with the person. Because if you don't know how to live a social life with this person that you're planning to spend your life with,
B.F.
it's going to
Skinner,
be a
all of them. I
disaster.
remember those
B.F.
days.
Skinner, yeah, it's going to
Oh
be
my
a
goodness,
disaster.
I'm remembering those days. You remember when I was in those psych courses? I mean,
Right.
you're bringing back some
Yeah,
great
I know
memories.
you know a lot about it.
Yeah.
We took a lot of psychology classes. And the thing is this: men should stay in their lanes. If you're married, and if you're going to write books for women, and if you're going to build women, make sure that you're like Dr. Phil. Make sure you like Dr. Phil, because Dr. Phil, wife.
Oh, I know where you're going. I knew that's where you were headed.
When he's
Robin
and
McGraw.
when Dr. Phil exits the platform, his wife is there.
Yeah,
and
she is.
The thing is this: your wife is the crown to your head. She's your
wow.
jewel. She's your everything. And the reason why a lot of men, good men, the reason why we receive favor is because of that rib that perfectly fitted outside to help us and to continue us being who we were called into this life to be. I understand we do a lot, but I believe what the word of God, Yahuwah says. It says that the man finds a wife, finds a good thing, and he obtains favor, spiritual favor with God. I believe that. Because it's just not like we make all this money and we're doing good and we have businesses, we look good. And see, once you're alone, once the devil get you out there all alone by yourself, strip you from your family, strip you from your inheritance. Once he gets you out there alone, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and you're going to say, man, I lost my family. And then you're going to realize that you lost your family because of your selfishness, for your greed, for your lack of empathy for your wife's emotions. And I'm telling you, and you're going to hurt everybody that's connected to you. Everybody's connected to you. Your granddaddy. If you're not a grandfather, you have a mother-in-law. You have in-laws that respect you and your goals that you have accomplished in life, and your effort is of being a man. That's
wow.
Right. So it's no wrong with motivating women, but make sure your wife is there. Years and years ago, I was doing different things in ministry, and when it seemed foggy, nebulous to you, you would say something to me when it was nebulous to you. You would say it, and you'll come to me, in love and with the spirit of a wife. When it seems like that, I'm trying to counsel.
I know
women,
what nebulous.
When I'm trying to counsel women, not in the right way, because you will see that what I was doing, if it left some danger for you to be attacked. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes men don't realize that the enemy, the things that you're doing will cause an attack on your wife.
Okay. So, and when things play out in the public eye, because I know you don't really care for a lot of these reality shows, but even in the reality TV, reality celebrities they're human just like we are.
It's a script.
No, I'm not saying anything about being scripted. My point is they have issues and they have weaknesses that they face in everyday life, and when it's played out in the media, because like right now, I've seen something trending about one of the housewives' husbands has been having an affair, committing adultery for any number of years, and now he's finally got a baby coming, and he wants his wife, but she ain't having it. And you don't like the reality shows, so I don't watch them, for fun.
So he's been having so much fun, he didn't produce the baby, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
She
adultery is fun now. It's
how
chase.
would you know?
It's the thrill of the chase. It's the adrenaline.
It's her. So yeah.
Wow. She's not a bad looking lady.
Oh, she's a pretty lady. But this woman here, she was on the conference in the group that you love being in that group.
Right.
She came in there. She was the one who had an interview with Mr. Jackson. And she let everybody know, because they asked her a question. They were like, well, did his publicist plan this? She was like, I can tell you right now, it wasn't planned. They said that he actually did these things a couple of years ago, and now because he still hasn't really changed, these women, and we know how people can be when you don't give them what they want. They'll bring up some stuff that they feel like, you know, nobody knows about. They'll come out the woodwork. So
like my brother Bill Cosby,
kind of like that.
Give me what I want, and I'll go away.
Right. So what I wanted to say is, this particular woman, she was on there with she told them, she said his book sales have plummeted. She said, so he's now scrambling to try to find out how he can get his means of earning income, because that was his main way of securing income, was through, you know, his following and stuff.
His wife was writing the books for him and just putting his picture on it.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, they were making a lot of money.
Women really know how to minister to other women. You see what I'm saying? And if they're running, and then if they finessing like that, if they're
there's her husband.
If they have a team, if they have
they're about to get a divorce because the woman came out and said she was keeping the baby. She said he's made her have, which I don't think he made her, but she said he's made her have other abortions in the past. And see, that's what I'm saying.
This is not the first child by his mistress.
From what she says. She said this is the first one she's gonna birth. She's not getting rid of this one. This baby she's gonna keep. So his wife is trying to get her life together and moving on. So
so why can't she stay with him?
Oh, she said she doesn't want to. She said he's been unfaithful too long.
I mean, it's life.
Too many. She said he's been unfaithful too many times, and now that he's bringing and and then for you to say, why can't she? I mean,
I believe people should work through that.
Let me say this to you.
This
is Candid Conversations, and we're about to end. But let me say this. Let me tell you this, and I'm going to say it before the camera. It was hard enough dealing with as a blended family with people who haven't moved on from 10, 15 years prior to me meeting you. And for you to think that it's okay and that a woman has to deal. Now, I'm not done talking. Let me finish my statement. This is the Candid Conversation show. If it's hard enough to deal with a woman who has been out the picture for years, although we love the children, you really think it's gonna be easy? Everybody ain't gonna be able to deal with a busybody, mean-spirited woman and no new baby. That's 18 plus years. I said plus years of dealing with somebody who is not whole, who is broken, who just wants to keep up problems. And you really think that I mean, sometimes men ask for a lot more of their spouses than they would really be willing to swallow. Because I guarantee you, most men or a lot of men would not be able to deal with their wife getting a baby on them and spending time and having to do things with the man she committed adultery with on him.
Well, men a whole lot different.
So don't give me that excuse. I wouldn't ask her to stay if she's dealt with this for years and this woman has been meddling her and being messy with her for all these years. That's a lot to ask somebody. That's a big pill to swallow. I don't think I would do it, just to be honest with you. I don't.
Let's have a candid conversation. It's all about me and you.
Adultery. These were children who were made before I was. You had moved on. I wouldn't do it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't do it. It's a lot to ask somebody to do.
Let's have a candid conversation. Talk about the issues that you're facing in the
so now you can say what you want to say.
Dr. Rich got the truth.
And they just had a baby themselves.
Let's have a candid conversation.
No, I'm talking about he and his wife. They just had a baby. They have 4 children together.
It's all about me and you. Let's have a candid conversation. No topic is taboo.
Now, you got condition on your love for me? Or you gonna just let me do what I want to do?
Yeah, I'm what dude call a man.
Let's have a candid conversation. No topic is taboo. When I talk to you, oh, it's all about me and you.
Me and you.
Hey, this is
Let's have a candid conversation. No topic is taboo.
Same channel, same broadcast, different conversation. 3 p.m. sharp, Central Standard Time. I'll see you then. This is the real Dr. Red.
Let's have a candid conversation. It's all about me and you. Let's have a candid conversation. No topic